Okay, and we are now live. So, good morning slash afternoon slash evening, everybody, and welcome back to our continuing coverage of the NSL playoffs. Today is our first of two matches in the second elimination round. We are taking things a little bit slower, so we are only going to be doing elimination round number 2 this week. So let me briefly show off the bracket for you. So as you can see, No Mercy and Undefined were dropped down to the lower bracket in our last league week, which was about 2 weeks ago. We took a break for the holiday season. Now that those are over, it's back to work. Enosis got promoted from Elimination Round 1 after dropping to Wii Sports in the Undefeated Round 1. So, at the end of today, one of these teams will be eliminated. So, yeah. I'm also going to be the referee for today, so my casting might take a little bit of a hit, and I apologize for that. I also need to quickly fix up the scoreboard. Jeez Louise. Okay, fixed it. And I only have one hand. And we're going to jump right into set number 1. So, today Enosis will be managed by Tyridium, and Undefined will be managed by a combination of Melody and Shinobi. DKE will not be in today. Tyridium trying to send a lineup in such a way that won't get censored by the family-friendly clan stuff. Unfortunately, because some of the players here are underage, we do need to do family-friendly clans, which means some stuff will get censored. So while we wait for the lineups to come out for the 2v2 set, just please in chat join me in wishing both teams the best of luck today. At the end of today, one will be eliminated. So it looks like Undefined will be running Mortar Royale and Wrath. And Tyridium will be running Max and Dan. Enosis will ban Lightning. And Undefined will ban Royal Giant. So now I'm just asking both teams to please send in a battle request as we get this thing underway. Also, one more thing I want to mention is my internet at this temporary location is not as good as my usual setup. So, unfortunately, that means that we're going to be dropping a lot of frames, and I apologize in advance for that. And yep, Undefined has about 2 minutes to hop into the game here, and then we can get started. Also, if I'm talking and you don't hear anything, I have push to mute on because there's a lot of background noise in my temporary setup here. So, just doing that. Also, in case you're wondering, yes, I am sat on my bed to do this broadcast. It's dire. But we'll manage. I'm just still home for the holidays. I leave here in about a week. So, please continue to bear with me. I've realize that in the previous broadcast my audio was absolutely atrocious because I thought that my Bluetooth headset was good enough. It is not. So I'm back to holding my microphone. But enough about me. We are in the gameplay now. It's going to be Max and Danik for Enosis on the bottom of your screen, and Mortal Royale and Wrath is Wolf for Undefined on the top. Lightning and Royal Giant are both banned for this set. Heroes are globally banned, so it looks like Undefined gets a free win here. Unless Mortal Royale also used the hero. Both teams have used the banned card, so the results will stand. So even though we're not supposed to see any heroes, we are going to be seeing heroes. I forgot to mention, yeah, those are still globally banned for the rest of the season because they are absolutely busted. So I'll just have to explain that in clan chat. So as for the gameplay that is currently happening, it seems that Enosis has a bit of an advantage with the matchup today. Running more of a minor control focus on one side and a hog cycle pressure on the other side. So while one player controls the board, the other player dishes out the damage. That seems to be Enosis' strategy, and it appears to be working, at least in single. It's to be determined if that's going to continue to work throughout double Elixir. So yeah, we will see. We'll see. Undefined getting a clean chain activation with the Valkyrie. Gonna be a good move to hopefully protect their towers going into double Elixir here. Double lane pressure move from Enosis, along with Earthquake for the Goblin Hut. Thanks to the activated King Tower, not too much damage is going to get done. But here we're seeing a rocket happen, we're seeing all the spells happen, trying to get that giant skeleton a little closer to the tower and override that Goblin Hut. Going to be unsuccessful this time around. And here we see the Evo Firecracker coming out, trying to get some free chip damage on that left-hand tower. Good use of squishy troops to prevent the Evo Executioner from getting too much value. And here we are now seeing some more bridge battling. And that Evo Firecracker gonna get even more chip damage, continuing to get all that value, relying on spells to finally take it out. Undefined, still on the back foot here. Bringing that left-hand tower all the way down to 1081 is Enosis, doing a fantastic job in this first game here. A little bit of an accidental chain activation on the part of Undefined, so now both teams are active. Big push coming in now for Enosis. Tower Fire is still being drawn to the Golden Knight. Fire Spirit takes that Lawbreaker out beautifully though. And the Evo Knight ability is, or the Hero Knight ability is used. Gonna draw everything away. Because, you know, if both players are using banned cards, might as well use them to their fullest extent, since the result will stand. And just like that, Undefined doing their best to turn the game around, doing a fair bit of damage in that last push. But with the spell cycling, it looks like Enosis will take it away for game number 1 in the 2v2 set. What a great set there. I'm gonna briefly mute myself so I can do some reffing, so bear with me please. Alright, so basically I just muted myself to put my mic down and type in clan chat that heroes are globally banned, but both teams use the ban card, so the result will stand, and it's going to be a score of 1-0 for Enosis in the 2v2 set, bringing it to set point for Enosis. And now we're just going to be briefly waiting for Game 2 to be requested by Enosis. They have 2 minutes to do so. Meanwhile, I'm going to keep an eye on chat. Not too much is happening. LOL. YouTube is warning me that my stream's current bitrate is 2,900. For context, it's supposed to be around 6,000, so it's pretty dire right now. The Wi-Fi at my current location is not amazing. But that's okay. This is temporary. Next weekend I'll be back in my usual spot with the good university Wi-Fi. But for now, I hope you can bear with me a little bit here. They have 1 minute left. I'm doing 2 things at once. So yeah, just to remind you of that previous matchup, here it is, in case you wanted to see it. Pretty dominant for Enosis, I will say. So now Undefined has about 2 minutes to accept the match, and then we can get into it. So while we're waiting, just a little bit of a call to action. I know the stream quality is ass right now. It'll get better, I promise, once I get back home. But for now, if you're enjoying the chill analysis, be sure to, if you're on the YouTube side, subscribe. If you're on the Twitch side, follow. It really helps us out a great deal, not only as me, a streamer, but as a league in general. Also, if you're on the Twitch side, just a heads up that I will be streaming matches from the CMG league once I get back to my good setup. So that'll be pretty poggers indeed. I'll also be multi-streaming to my personal YouTube channel, so there will be some options. Giving the 1 minute warning in clan chat now. I almost wonder, chat, should I just show the clan chat while we're waiting for stuff, or what? Either way, we are in. I have the wrong team's logo on here, don't I? Shoot. 1 second. LOL. That's so bad. There we go. Fixed it. You're welcome. I can't believe I had the wrong logo on the whole time. That's sad. Yeah, fun. Okay, but now it's the right logo. And Enosis is gonna be running... Yeah, what happened is I forgot to change it from the last podcast I did. But yeah, Enosis running more of a minor control than the last game, while Undefined is trying something entirely new. No Golden Knight ability. So a small push coming in from Enosis here. And once again, apologies for having the wrong logo on the whole time. That was pretty unfortunate of me. I meant no disrespect to Enosis in that. Archer Queen coming down for Undefined, trying to clean some stuff up, and a rocket coming from Enosis is going to get huge value, taking out both the Archer Queen and the Golden Knight simultaneously, and bringing Undefined's leftmost tower all the way down to 1615, putting Enosis in the lead by about 800 health going into double elixir time. And with each miner, the lead grows ever bigger. I don't know how to feel about that Evo Skelly. Seems a little bit wasted if you ask me. But that's just me. Good Evo Lumberjack location and a predict that drill beautifully. Miner is getting picked up this time by the Golden Knight. Evo Lumberjack continues to get value on its home turf. Still surviving with just a sliver of HP. Gonna go down to the Golden Knight, but the Ghost will take it out before ultimately falling. Miner once again being picked up, Undefined doing a good job of predicting those placements. But each poison is another chance to get chip damage, Log having to come out before the Queen can cross the bridge and go ability. Miner being placed in the unsafe zone this time. Snowball, of course, being safe to support the drill. This time the Golden Knight does connect on the tower, doesn't stay connected. But now the HP is only different by 4, so Undefined making it much closer. Last second Snowball coming out to protect against that wall breaker. But a huge connection on the left ultimately gives the first set to Enosis. So a clean finish overall. So in case you don't know what that is, the 3v3 best of 1 duel set basically has a lineup of 3 players on each team going against their respective opponent only once, and no card repeats between teammates, as is the case with any duel. And first to win 2 points takes it. So for Enosis, it's going to be Gabo, Fgab, and Wise, and their subbing max. So now you're just waiting to see who Undefined puts in. So neither of these players have played in set number 1, so all players on Enosis' roster are still good to play. For now, anyway. And now we continue to wait and see. Undefined continuing to lag on sending their lineup, trying to figure out who is the best to respond to these 3 amazing players that Enosis is putting out. And again, they have to put a lot of thought into this one, because once again, this is an elimination match. At the end of this, one team will be walking away from the lead with nothing to show for it, as we're still very early in the bracket. And I give the 2-minute call in the clan chat. But yeah, for those of you just tuning in, I am both reffing and casting at the same time, so both responsibilities will suffer a little bit. But that's what happens when all of your admins are on the teams that are playing. Hee hee. They have to get me to do it. And that's just how it goes sometimes, but that's okay. We'll live. I'm also keeping track of chat every now and again, so if you have any more analysis to add, please feel free to do so. And also make sure to like, comment, subscribe, follow, all that good stuff, depending on which platform you're watching from, as that really supports not just me as a caster, but also the entire league. I am now sending the 1-minute countdown. Undefined is going to be sending out Retired, Raph, and Mortar Royale, who is a very good player indeed. So this first game will be This first game will be Retired versus Gabo. I hope the team managers are watching so I don't have to repeat myself in clan chat. Typing with one hand is not fun, but I'll make it work. So once again, all of the newly introduced heroes are globally banned for the remainder of... Actually, we'll need to have a discussion as an admin team whether or not the first 4 heroes will be allowed at the start of next season. In-game season, I should say. Or if we should just ban all heroes, because it seems like they're going to be an integral part of gameplay from here on out. So we'll have to make that determination soon. And we'll announce when that happens. Alright, and now we are into Game 1 of the second set, the 3 vs 3 best of 1 duels. It'll be Retired for Undefined at the bottom of your screen, and Gabo for Enosis at the top. This is going to be a best out of 3 set. Each player in the lineup will only play once, and there are no card repeats between teammates, just like any duel. Retired burning the zap spell early on in the set, forcing their teammates to adapt accordingly. I would assume that the teams have sort of pre-planned their duel decks. At least I would hope so. Boss Bandit coming out for Retired. That's a really good card that they're burning super early on in the set. So here's hoping Undefined has a plan. Bar Barrel, also a really important spell being burned in game number 1. So it's going to be interesting to see how Retired's teammates adapt. I'm seeing no medium spells in Retired's deck. Meanwhile, I haven't seen any spells at all from Gabo yet, other than minor. So it seems like Gabo's teammates might be in a more favorable spot to really diversify their decks in the following 2 games, should it go that far. And the Fireball also being burned. Gabo burning 3 spells in 1 deck. I hope his teammates have a plan. I really do. But it seems like a bit of a blunder to use all those spells all at once, if you ask me. But that's just my opinion. I'm just a caster. And here comes an Evo Starmie now for Gabo. Executioner gonna miss General Jerry, hit it on the second shot, but Evo Etsy takes a lot of damage in the process. Good use of the Boss Bandit ability, gonna take care of that Skeleton King. Arrows coming down from Gabo to take care of a lot of that stuff. And here comes a Barbarian Barrel from Retired. And first bit of tower action all game. Ram Rider connects, putting Undefined in a favorable spot going into overtime here. Starmie gonna block that Golden Knight dash. Bit of a waste of elixir if you ask me for that dash. Conventional wisdom states that you should not use the Golden Knight ability until after he crosses the bridge at the very least, show a little bit of restraint there. But Boss Bandit does a pretty good job of remediating that. But now here comes a major push now for Gabo. Minion Horde gonna go unanswered for a little bit here, forcing out that Etsy. Etsy's gonna go down, a lot of elixir value for Gabo. Meanwhile, Retired stays in the damage lead, and it's only going to grow as time goes on. Unless Gabo really changes their strategy. A great zap mid-Golden Knight dash, gonna take out that entire Evo Starmie. Skeleton Chain ability gonna fully counter that Boss Bandit. Evo Mortar not gonna get any major connection. A lot of defense happening from Gabo though. Mine are gonna get a lot of chip damage on that right-hand tower. But Retired has the spell advantage, for sure. And yeah, if you're gonna burn that many spells in one game, you better win. But if Enosis can get this to game 3, it'll be their advantage thanks to a lot of the spells being used up early on by Retired. And here comes another Evo Starmie just trying to get something to happen, but not enough, as Undefined takes the first point of the duel set. That brings it to set point for Undefined. And it's for game number 2, it's going to be Raf versus FDAB. So yeah, going to be very interesting to see here. Where's my pen? Oh, there it is. Cool. You can't ref a game without a pen and paper. That's what I say. You can't cast a game without a pen and paper. That's also what I say. So yeah, overall, Retired, playing it very risky, using 3 spells in game number 1, getting the chip damage advantage throughout the entire game. And while that may have worked out for game number 1, it really puts Undefined in a bit of a pickle for games 2 and 3. Game 2 they can sort of get away with because there are enough alternative spells in the game to get by. Like all the tiny spells are used. Except for Rage maybe, so Rage should come out. In the 3 Elixir department, there is still Arrows, there's still Tornado, there's still Vines. In the 4 Elixir department, Poison is remaining. But if the second player also uses a bunch of spells, then game 3 is going to be a bit of a challenge. Meanwhile, Enosis took a bit of a more restrained approach, allowing their subsequent teammates a lot more flexibility in their deck building for games 2 and 3, allowing for more creativity, more snipe potential. So overall, just a better position overall. But it is set point for Undefined, so Enosis wants to take this to game 3 if they can. So a lot riding on FDAB here, keep their early momentum going. And here we go. Once again, Raf is Rof for Undefined will be at the bottom of your screen. FDAB for Enosis at the top. And this is the second game of the 3 vs 3 best of 1 duel set. So this is our second matchup of the set. So let's see if Raf can build off of the momentum that Retired started, or if Retired's early usage of many spells will prove disastrous for Undefined's late game in this set. So now here we go, there's a Royal Giant coming out for Raf. Looks like he's running a very traditional RG deck with the Hunter and the Fisherman, but opting for both the Evo RG and the Evo Ghost. Generally we haven't seen Evo RG in a hot second, because usually it's something else, like Evo Skellies, Evo Hunter maybe. Although Evo Hunter's kind of been lacking lately ever since the major nerfs. Evo Ghost, of course, being extremely popular. Also, I'm surprised we haven't seen too much Evo Furnace in competitive, even though it's been given away for free. And of course, this league is small enough that free-to-play stuff does matter. A very good fisherman by Raph to activate the King Tower using the Valkyrie's wide tornado radius. The soldiers get a little bit of connection. FDAB still in a slight damage lead by about 200 HP. So far so good for FDAB. The lightweight drill deck usually has an advantage against heavier decks such as RG. RG played at the bridge. Interesting. Usually in a deck like this, the player would start by playing an RG in the back, then cycle through all of their cards and put another RG at the opposite bridge to try and overwhelm the opponent. But that's not the case here. A good monk ability to deflect the Evo Snowball, not allowing that drill to get too much value, still can get quite a bit of damage. And of course, FGAB has the advantage in the fact that he has more direct damage options from spells than Raph. That was a poor Evil Valkyrie placement, so RG is going to connect quite extensively on that right-hand side. Poison coming down to get a little bit of value against those defensive troops. Evil Valkyrie gonna try and redeem herself, get a little bit of damage on the right-hand side. But Raph actually in a very good position to take the game here. Now that it's overtime, Raph is doing what I just talked about, putting RG in the back one side, cycling through a bunch of stuff, and then putting a second RG in the opposite lane to put on a lot of pressure. Very minimal defense coming out, but an Evo goes too, so that's fine and dandy. Goblin Hut gonna take care of that RG, but we're gonna expect the second RG at the bridge very shortly because he cycled, and yep, there's the Evo. Same lane this time, forcing a defensive drill, not what you want to see when you're already down a lot of HP. Evo Snowball coming out, pushing that RG back as much as possible, putting some lighter troops to distract the fishermen. All good plays by FGAB here. And another drill comes out. FGAB really needs to vary the drill placement. It seems like Raph has his number. And here comes another RG, just time after time, and it keeps on coming. Two fishermen's playing with that Evo Valkyrie at the same time can prove a little challenging to defend. Here comes another drill. Now that Raph has spent quite a bit of elixir on offense, but still, E-Spirit Log gonna take care of all that. It's important to note though, FGAB is back in a very slight lead and has poison to increase that lead ever further, so as long as that RG doesn't get a hit, FGAB will take it on tiebreaker, and that's exactly what happens. And Enosis pulls it back and takes it to game number 3. Overall, very well played by FGAB. So for game 3, it's going to be Mortar versus Wise. That's Mortar Royale, not just Mortar. Oh no, it is buffering, says YouTube, to which I say, I know, I can't do anything about it, sorry. So, if you buffer, I'm sorry. I can't do anything about it. Womp womp. Yeah. Oop. Yeah. But yeah, I hope you all are enjoying the broadcast so far. I apologize for any streaming issues we are having. Again, next week those should all be ironed out, so please bear with me in the meantime. Just waiting on Wise from Enosis to accept the match for game number 3, so we can get into it. Great, I lost track of my pen again. What the hell is wrong with me? I'm so silly. What did I do with my pen? Oh, there it is. Ha! I'm silly. So yeah, just continuing to wait. So in this second game, FDAB used 2 more spells. Fireball's still open for Enosis. Raph really practiced restraint. So now Mortar Royale does have some options to go off of. I have to spell out 1 minute. Jeez, okay. Family-friendly clans are crazy. But here we go now for game number 3 of the 3v3 best of 1 duel set. For this matchup, it will be Mortar Royale for Undefined at the bottom of your screen, and Wise for Enosis at the top. As this is game number 3, we're going to need to start seeing some real creativity from both players, as the deck pool is severely limited at this point. Magic Archer coming out, we haven't seen this guy for a while, getting some good geometry damage on Mortar's tower. Here comes a Hog Rider now for Wise. Log is going to do a good job against that Tombstone, and the Hog will get 1 hit on tower. Yeah, this is do or die for both teams. Set point both teams. If you're Undefined, you really want to take this set, pull the momentum back in your favor, because you do not want to be back against the wall in set number 3. Especially in an elimination match where all the pressure is on. Alright, Mortar Royale going with the lava push. A lot of opposite lane happening from Wise, trying to capitalize on that investment as much as possible. Valkyrie going to do a good job taking all that out. Mortar Royale does take quite a heavy chunk of damage. Void coming out now. You rarely see that these days. Cannon not going to do enough to protect that Magic Archer from certain doom. But a Lightning comes out to take out a lot of that push, and an E-Spirit comes out to clean up those pups. However, that push is enough for Mortar Royale to reclaim the damage lead and maintain the Elixir lead. Thanks to that cannon not being enough, so why even bother, right? So let's hope Wise learn from that and will refrain from putting a cannon in the future. Or, at the very least, puts a cannon earlier. Here comes a big push from Ooh, big push from Wise ultimately takes out. Okay, and now we learn that the cannon's not enough to protect the Magic Archer, and the tower is gone courtesy of that lava push. And this Evil Valkyrie will make sure that the Hog does not connect in any way, shape, or form. And with only 15 minutes, it's all too certain that Mortar Royale will win it for his team and pull Undefined back into the running thanks to that Spirit Empress. And just like that, Enosis has some competition, as Undefined takes set number 2. Alright. which is going to be the 3 versus 3 best of 1 Mega Draft set. So for this, it's just like in duels, where there's 3 different people playing for each team throughout the set, but it's Mega Draft. And Enosis will be requesting all the games, which means they have first pick in draft. Which comes with its own advantages, but having last pick in draft also comes with its own advantages as well. So now we just get to wait for lineups. It is the middle of the match. So we are just about to get into the halfway point here. Mega Draft is by far the longest set of the format, just because the draft phase takes so long, but it's worth it. Enosis will send out Max, FGAB, and Gabo. This is the second set for all 3 players, so all 3 of them will be out of the running going forward. They'll be setted out. So now we're just waiting for Undefined to send their lineup for the set. Also, as a reminder to team managers, if you recognize your player in the request queue, feel free to let them in. That's why you were promoted to KudO. So, yep, we are continuing to wait. And seeing as this is Mega Draft, deck preferences go out the window. Deck building goes out the window, just request, it's at the end. Yep, continuing to wait. I ran out of things to talk about. Womp womp. Alright, timeout. So, looks like a timeout has been used, so we will reconvene in about 5 minutes. This also gives me a break. So, I'm also going to take a breather, and we will reconvene in 5 minutes. Cheers. Alright, we are back from that 5-minute timeout session. So Undefined now has 2 minutes left to send their lineup. Enosis' lineup remains the same of Max, FGab, and Gabo for the 3v3 best of 1 meta draft set coming up soon. Just waiting for those lineups to send, and then we are good to go. There have been some questions about the per player set limit that I have done my best to answer. My mic is peaking. Yikes. Okay. So hopefully everyone's questions have been answered and we can move on with our lives. And now I have to count a minute. 4. So pardon me for just sitting here like a doofus, as we are continuing to wait for the... Alright, Undefined is setting Ares retired and no third player. So Enosis will be sending a request for this set. First in will be Max versus Ares. And then typing with one hand is no fun. So Undefined will be playing at a disadvantage here, having no third player. Basically meaning that Undefined has to win both games in order to take the set. So it's going to be Max for Enosis at the bottom of your screen with the first pick, and Ares for Undefined at the top. Max, of course, claims Poison first. Ares going for Log and Retaliation, both very good spells. Very good utility. I see a lot of great win conditions on the table now. I see Hog Rider, Gun Barrel. 3M not so great now that a Poison has been clinched and there's no pump or anything. So I would personally leave that card alone. But I see all the pieces of a good Bridge Spam deck. As soon as I said I'd leave that card alone, Max goes ahead and picks it. Why? Well, he probably knows what he's doing more than I do, so we'll see. Although, look at Max's average elixir cost, it is through the roof right now. Ares going for the Royal Delivery. Good counter to 3M. And minions alike. Golden Knight, just a good overall card. It looks like Ares might be going for more of a Bridge Spammy archetype. So I could see him picking either the Ram Rider or the Hog Rider. Probably more likely to be the Ram Rider at this stage. Maybe a P.E.K.K.A. if he's feeling ambitious, but again, gotta watch that elixir. But yeah, Ares needs to win this, because if he loses, there's no way for Undefined to win the set, so Enosis will just take it outright. Here comes Giant Skeleton and Skeletons, so actually going for more of a beatdowny archetype, so definitely might see a Ram Rider from Ares. Still yet to see if Max will pick any other win condition. Going for the Lumberjack and Rage. There's no balloon on the table. So he might also be going for the Ram Rider as well, honestly. And indeed, he does steal the Ram Rider out from under Ares. So what will he pick instead? That's my question. Goes for Tesla, so Goblin Barrel is the main win condition for Ares. Overall, both players picked up a very good deck. Goblin Barrel straight away. It's important to note that Max did not pick up a good Goblin Barrel counter from the draft phase, so every time a barrel comes out, it's either going to be a huge positive elixir trade for Ares, or it's going to be some free damage. Every time, without fail. And that'll really add up, so as long as Ares can pick up some good defense from those Ram Riders that are going to be going crazy, he should have no issues. But he also needs to keep the match in control at all times. So now the 3M is out. Giant Stellar would take care of the left side, no problem. Right side might be a bit more of a challenge, forcing out the delivery and the log. Musketeer gets 2 shots on tower. Not terrible, but not amazing. Here comes the Knight. Both players are very low now on Elixir. Bomber comes out. I'm not sure why Ares didn't play that on the right side. When you're playing this style of guaranteed barrel damage every time without fail, but you have to defend it really well, it's more successful to pick a tower and just commit to it throughout the entire match. Even if it's away from the action, even if it's not tanked for. Because ultimately, if you're getting free damage every time, you need to pick one tower, otherwise the tiebreaker will absolutely kill you. You can't spread out your damage, you have to concentrate it into one area. Now some split lane pressure from Max. Gonna give Ares' defensive skills a run for its money. Both sides defended flawlessly, just about. Giant Stilly to defend against the Lumberjack. And Ram is out of cycle for now. Might be back by now. Some opposite lane pushes from both players now. And it seems like Ares might have listened to my advice there, picking a tower, sticking with it, putting a log to distract any defensive troops. And to some success. Ares also needs to make sure to have a Tesla down pretty much at all times, because defense is obviously Ares' top priority going into overtime. Because, like, he is not the direct damage. But also Max is poison, so that's also free direct damage now that you think about it. So this matchup could go pretty much either way depending on how they play. See a lot of Elixir went into defending that barrel. The 3M melee abilities are being used to their fullest potential at the moment. Some great Giant Skeleton gameplay. Golden Knight has a good dash right there, and of course he's going to use it. Here comes a barrel. On center, as always. Actually going to be taken out fully this time. Thanks to a big Elixir dump by Ares. Not by Ares, by Max, excuse me. Musketeer does get damage. Ooh, big connection on the left. Ares is gonna go down. And because there's no third player for Undefined, they have no way to win. So, Enosis will take the third set, straight up. Alright, so what I was just doing there is saying in clan chat that because Undefined has no path to victory in that set, Enosis is just gonna flat out take set 3 straight away to save some time. And we're going to move on to the 3 versus 3 reverse Chain of the Hill. What reverse Chain of the Hill means is instead of going out when you lose, you go out when you win, and the first team to run out of players will win the set. So Enosis is going to run Danik, Wise, and Ricky. And those are all valid uses. So just waiting for Undefined to send their lineup. They have a little over 2 minutes to do so, and then we can get into it. So, because it's Chain of the Hill, we're back to traditional deck building. There are no restrictions on deck building other than no heroes, but teammates are free to use their cards. They're free to repeat cards. No bans for this set. Ultimate freedom, really. Hello, welcome to chat, everyone who just tuned in. For everyone who just tuned in, Undefined had no path to victory for that previous set because they are down a player, so that's how it went. And we're trying to streamline these matches as much as possible since I know they're a huge time investment. So just trying to keep it snappy. I know that they want to play that other game. Undefined at CMG will just flat out forfeit. And because they forfeited the set, they actually forfeit the entire match as a result. And therefore, Enosis will move on. So that is it. Enosis will move on to Elimination Round 3. And Undefined will drop out of the league. So now what's going to happen is they're going to play for fun the other game of that Magic Draft set. So let's watch that. So, Retired and FGAB are just playing for fun now. Retired is going to be for Undefined at the bottom of your screen. FGAB for Enosis at the top. At this point, Enosis already won, and this is just an exhibition game now. To see what would have happened if Undefined did have a third player for this set. And I think it's good to do them justice by watching this game on live. Just so that these players have a chance to showcase their skills for the audience at home. I did miss you. Alright, all the pressure's off, Undefined's already eliminated. Here we go. Retired, playing more of a minor control deck, drafting accordingly. FDAB running more of a control deck as well, actually. Fireball bait, it looks like. FDAB probably eyeballing those Royal Hogs, if I had to guess. Instead going for a Knight, just trying to delay the picking the win condition for as long as possible. But we already know what he's picking. And there aren't too many good Royal Hog counters on the board. I mean, Retired pretty much picked up all of them. FDAB going for more of a Goblin Barrel control kind deck. Interesting. So not log bait in the traditional sense. But close enough. Retired not going for the Royal Hogs at all. Not doing anything about the Royal Hogs, going for Bush instead. FDAB will run Bomb Tower, so Retired picked up too many Hogs counters, he had to abandon ship and go for more of a barrel control deck instead. I'm assuming that's what happened. And here we go, Retired immediately starting with the Skeleton Barrel, so just kind of like a double bait kind deck, but with not as many bait cards as you traditionally see in a deck like this. Zappy's being forced out for those minions, otherwise the Skelly Barrel would have tanked really hard for that. Here comes a Skeleton King to go against the Zappies. I'm gonna have a really fun time inputting the results of this match, I will say. Bush will get picked up by the Knight. Archer Queen across the bridge, and a dual ability, get some value. Goblin Machine barely survives, gets a quick rocket off on that bomb tower. Knight might connect on the left. And indeed he does, Retired trading tower health for Elixir. Minor minions connecting on the right for Retired. So if Undefined did have that third player for the Meta Draft set, we might have seen a set 4, or we might have seen them continuing to play. And here we go, Goblin Barrel on the left for FDAB. So far, Retired in a clear lead, going into double Elixir time. And again, for those of you just tuning in, this game is purely exhibition. Enosis already won. Here we go, yeah, Happy New Year to you too, chat. Thank you for the well wishes. With only 21 seconds left in regulation, Retired still in a clear lead, but FDAB slowly picking it up as he goes. Dark Prince trying to perfectly counter that barrel. Goblin Machine connecting, not really, but okay. Great poison by FDAB to take out that entire push. Miner's still connecting to the tower though. And it's not looking too good for FDAB. Depending on how this exhibition game goes, I might report the score differently for statistics purposes. Here we go, Goblin Barrel Poison does get a few stabs on that left-hand tower. FDAB trying to pick it back up. Dark Prince connects on the left. Not that it really matters, the right is the true focus right now. Bomb Tower gonna do a good job. of cleaning all that push up. Low-key kind of questionable poison on the left. Successful though. Arrows forced out. Again, both players apart by only about 300 HP. With only a minute to go, we are now in triple elixir. Miner is picked up now. No more guaranteed damage for you, retired. Is what FDAB is probably thinking in his head right now. Here goes another goblin machine on the right. Arrows are going to come out to take out that goblin barrel, as predicted. Bomb tower does pick up the skeleton barrel. Miner is picked up by the zappies. Overall, very good plays by FDAB right now. But FDAB just doesn't have the offense necessary. Arrows are going to come out. Ooh, this is going to be down to the wire. By less than 10 HP, FDAB does take the game. So Enosis would have won that set anyhow. Okay. So glad that's all settled then. So with that, that will conclude our broadcast for today. Thank you all so much for tuning into this match. Once again, Enosis is the victor of this match, and they will move on to elimination round number 3. The elimination semifinals to go against the winner of whoever wins tomorrow, either No Mercy or Crispy Clean. And then, meanwhile, in the undefeated finals, we'll also see that next week it'll be Wii Sports versus AEG. The winner of that one will move on to the grand final, and the loser will go into the elimination finals. So with all that, we will probably see you again tomorrow for the No Mercy versus Crispy Clean match at the same time as today. If not, then we'll see you next week. So thank you all for tuning in. Not enough viewers on the Twitch side to justify a raid. So, aloha, ahuiho. See you tomorrow.